They told him not to touch anyone. 5 seconds later, the room stepped back. Everyone felt it the moment Bruce Lee walked in. Not excitement, not respect. A shift. Not because he spoke. He didn't say a word. Not because he moved fast. He didn't rush. He simply entered the space. The room was already tight. Too many bodies standing close. Too many people trying to look confident. Eyes were everywhere. Some staring openly. Some pretending to look away. Men stood in rough lines. Not organized. Just placed where they were told. Some had their arms folded, like shields, like habits. Others kept their hands low, ready but unsure. No one was relaxed. Not really. Near the center stood an authority figure. Not tall, not loud yet, close enough to be seen, close enough to stop things if needed. His presence meant rules, control, permission. This was not a friendly room. No laughter, no warmth. It was public. It was watched. It was managed. Rules were not written, but everyone felt them. You stand here. You don't cross that line. You wait. Bruce Lee didn't adjust himself, didn't stretch, didn't prepare. He stood still, loose shoulders, easy breathing, eyes calm, almost casual, like he didn't notice the pressure. That calm didn't relax anyone. It did the opposite, because calm like that doesn't come from comfort. It comes from certainty. Someone moved first. Not fast, not brave, just enough to be noticed. A step forward, half a step, careful. He wasn't challenging. He wasn't friendly. He was reminding. The kind of reminder that sounds calm, but carries weight. A hand lifted slightly, not pointing, not threatening, just lifted. The voice came next. Steady, practiced, used before. Don't touch him. The words were simple, clear, public. They were not whispered. They were meant to be heard. Not only by Bruce Lee, by everyone. The room felt smaller after that. The sentence hung in the air, heavy, still. It meant rules mattered here. It meant limits existed. It meant permission was required. People understood that tone. It wasn't anger. It wasn't fear. It was authority trying to stay in place. The fighters looked at Bruce Lee, then at the man who spoke, then back again. No one smiled. A few shifted their weight. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Someone cleared their throat. Soft, quick. No one laughed. No one joked. This wasn't that kind of moment. This was the moment before things break. The kind of moment where rooms hold their breath. The kind of moment where men decide who they really are. The authority figure stayed still, waiting, waiting for obedience, waiting for pause, waiting for hesitation. This was how control usually works. You speak, others stop. You warn, others think. You remind people of rules. They fall in line. That was the expectation. The room leaned into that expectation. Eyes sharpened, his spines stiffened. Someone in the back stopped moving completely. Someone near the front tightened his jaw. Everyone was watching Bruce Lee now. Not for action, for delay, for doubt, for respect toward the rule. This was the space where most men freeze. Not from fear, from calculation, from thinking too long, from deciding what they are allowed to do. The rules stood between him and everyone else. Clear, simple, don't touch, stand down, behave. The authority believed the room was his. For a moment, just a moment, because he didn't know yet that the room was already changing. Nothing dramatic happened first. No shout, no sudden rush, just stillness. The warning was still in the air, fresh, heavy. The room waited. People expected a pause, a look, a reaction delayed by thought. They expected him to think. He didn't. Bruce Lee moved immediately. Not fast, not slow, immediate. 1 step, not forward, like an attack. Not back like retreat. Sideways. Just enough. The distance changed. That was all. But distance matter. His foot touched the ground softly. No stomp. No noisy. His body stayed loose. No tension. No tightening. His shoulders didn't rise. His breath didn't change. His face stayed calm, almost empty. No anger. No challenge. That confused people. His hand moved next. Once. Clean. Small. Not wide. Not flashy. Just a movement. Too quick to study. Too clear to ignore. No one understood it fully. No one needed to. Because bodies react before minds do. The nearest man felt it first. Not pain. Not fear. Pressure. Space shrinking. Air changing. His foot slid back without thinking. Just a few inches. But it mattered. Another man noticed. He didn't wait. He stepped back too. Someone near the wall leaned away. Just slightly. Someone else shifted their stance. Not ready anymore. Careful now. No one spoke. The authority figure opened his mouth, then closed it. No words came out. The room was quieter now, not silent, focused. Bruce Lee didn't chase the moment. He didn't step again. He didn't follow anyone. He simply stood where he was. The space around him grew, not because he asked for it, not because anyone told others to move. It happened on its own. Instinct. One step back became two. Two became room. Men who were confident moments ago now measured distance. They watched hands. They watched feet. They stopped watching his face, because his face gave nothing away. The authority figure was still there, still upright, still present, but no longer central. People no longer looked to him first. They looked to the space. They looked to Bruce Lee. The rule was still real, but weaker. It floated now, unattached. No one defended it. No one repeated it. The warning had already passed its moment. Bruce Lee stayed calm, the same calm as before, the kind that doesn't ask permission, the kind that doesn't need approval, the kind that makes rooms adjust. No one dared step closer. No one tested the space, because everyone felt it. This was no longer about touching. It was about control, and control had already moved, quietly, without words, without force, without effort. The room understood before anyone said it out loud. The moment had shifted, and it wasn't shifting back. The first step back was small, almost invisible, but everyone noticed it. A foot moved, then stopped. The man who moved didn't plan it. His body did it for him. He didn't look brave anymore. He didn't look weak either. He looked aware. That awareness spread. Another man adjusted his stance. Not to attack, to create space. A third man leaned back slightly, like something warm had come too close. No one spoke. The room breathed differently now, not relaxed, alert. The authority figure shifted his weight. Just once. He didn't step forward. He didn't step back. He stayed where he was, but his shoulders were tighter. His hands were no longer loose. He was watching now, not controlling. That change mattered. People noticed it. They always do. Control is felt more than seen. And it was slipping. Someone near the wall crossed his arms. Not confident anymore. Protective. Someone else lowered his chin. Eyes up, body back. The fighters were no longer lined up. The lines broke without sound. The shape of the room changed. It opened. Space appeared around Bruce Lee. Not requested, not demanded. Given. No one wanted to be the closest anymore. That position suddenly felt wrong. Too exposed. Too risky. No one laughed to release tension. No one joked to pretend this was nothing. This wasn't nothing. People felt it in their chest, in their legs, in their hands. That feeling where instinct wakes up before the mind catches up. The authority figure glanced around. Quick, careful. He noticed the space too. He noticed how people were no longer waiting for him. No one asked, "What should we do?" No one looked for the next order. That silence was dangerous for him. He cleared his throat. The sound was dry. He didn't speak. He couldn't find the moment. The moment had passed. Bruce Lee didn't move. He didn't fill the space. He didn't press forward. He didn't need to. His stillness was doing the work. Calm stayed on him like a weight. Not heavy. Stable. The kind of calm that doesn't shift, even when others do. Another man stepped back. Then another. Not together. Not planned. One by one. Each step made the next easier. Each movement made the room wider. People stopped standing straight. They angled their bodies away. They opened paths without realizing. They created exits with their feet. The authority figure noticed eyes changing. Not hostile. Not respectful. Uncertain. That was worse. Uncertainty eats authority quietly. He stood there, with rules that no longer held weight. Rules need belief. Belief had left the room. No one challenged Bruce Lee. No one dared test the space. No one said anything, because saying something now would mean taking responsibility. And no one wanted that. The room had already chosen distance, already chosen caution, already chosen silence. The balance was gone, and everyone felt it. Even those pretending not to. The shift was complete, but no one announced it, because power never announces itself when it has already arrived. No one spoke, not because they were told to be quiet, because no one knew what to say. The rule was still there. Everyone remembered it, but it no longer felt strong. It felt thin, like paper held too close to fire. No one repeated the warning. No one said, "Don't again." The authority figure stayed where he was, still standing, still visible. But something about him had changed. He wasn't leading anymore. He was observing. His eyes moved from face to face. Quick, careful. He was checking if the room was still his. It wasn't. People weren't looking at him first anymore. They weren't waiting for his signal. They were watching the space. They were watching Bruce Lee, not with excitement, not with anger, with caution. That kind of attention that comes when people stop underestimating. Someone shifted again, just a step, then another. The room grew wider without effort. Paths opened. Angles changed. People no longer stood straight in front of him. They turned slightly, sideways, safer. No one wanted to be the closest. That role felt dangerous now, not because of violence, because of certainty. Bruce Lee didn't move. He didn't smile. He didn't stare anyone down. He didn't enjoy the moment. He let it pass through the room. His calm stayed exactly the same. That calm was heavy, not loud, not proud, just present. The kind of calm that doesn't need approval. The fighters understood something quietly. This wasn't a test anymore. This wasn't about proving anything. This was about recognition. Recognition happens fast. When denial is no longer possible, the authority figure shifted again. This time, a small step back. He tried to make it look natural. No one believed it was. That step said more than words. It said control was gone. It said the rule had lost its teeth. No one reacted to his movement. No one followed him. That silence hurt more than resistance, because silence means no one is listening. The rule didn't disappear loudly. It faded. No one defended it. No one stood up for it. It just stopped being real. People still remembered the words, but words without belief don't hold rooms. The fighters relaxed their hands. Not fully, just enough. They weren't preparing anymore. They were accepting. The tension changed shape. Less sharp, more respectful. Bruce Lee finally moved. Not forward. He turned slightly, just enough to show he was done. That movement closed the moment, like a door shutting without noise. No one stopped him. No one blocked him. The space stayed open, because the room understood. The challenge was over before it truly began. Nothing dramatic followed. No confrontation, no speech. Just the quiet knowledge that something had shifted permanently. The authority figure didn't speak again. He didn't need to. Everyone already knew. The rule was gone, and it wasn't coming back. Nothing followed. That was the strange part. No argument, no shouting, no final warning. The room stayed exactly as it was. Open, quiet, wide. People waited for something else to happen. It didn't. Seconds passed. Not fast, not slow, just seconds. Someone swallowed, loud in the silence. Someone else blinked too much. No one moved forward. No one stepped closer. The space around Bruce Lee stayed clear, like an invisible line had been drawn. Not painted, not announced. Felt. Men who were confident earlier now stood differently. Their shoulders were lower. Their weight shifted back. They weren't weak. They were careful. That difference matters. Careful men don't rush. Careful men don't test. The authority figure stayed quiet. Too quiet. He had already missed his moment. He knew it. Everyone else knew it too. Rules only work when they arrive on time. His arrived late. The fighters stopped pretending. They stopped acting tough. They stopped playing roles. They were themselves now, and themselves knew better. Someone near the edge took a breath, like the pressure had eased. Another man loosened his jaw. Small signs, but real. Bruce Lee didn't look around for reactions. He didn't search faces. He didn't need confirmation. He already knew. The room had settled around him, like water around stone. Stillness returned, but not the same stillness as before. Before was tense. Now it was decided. People understand decision energy. It feels final. No one spoke, because there was nothing left to say. The warning felt old now, like it belonged to another moment, another version of the room. The authority figure finally looked away, just for a second. That mattered too. Looking away means surrender, without saying it. When he looked back, nothing had changed. The space was still open. The calm was still there. Bruce Lee stood exactly the same. Same posture, same breath, unmoved. That was what stayed with people. Not speed, not strength. Stillness. The kind that doesn't need action anymore. The kind that ends things quietly. Someone at the back shifted toward the wall, not hiding, just making sure they weren't in the way. Another person adjusted their feet, angled away, creating a path without being asked. No one wanted to interrupt. No one wanted to restart something that had already ended. The moment didn't fade. It locked in, like a photograph no one could unsee. This was the kind of moment people remember later. Not clearly, but deeply. They wouldn't repeat the words. They wouldn't retell the movement exactly, but they would remember the feeling. That feeling of control leaving a room without a fight. The authority figure finally relaxed his hands. Too late. Relaxation after loss doesn't change outcomes. The room belonged to silence now, and silence had chosen its side. Bruce Lee shifted his weight slightly, not to threaten, not to leave yet, just a natural adjustment. Even that movement made people pay attention. That was the final proof. Attention follows power. Even when power does nothing, no one challenged again. No one tried to reclaim space. The moment was complete, but the room didn't rush away from it. It stayed inside it, because some moments don't need endings. They simply exist. Time kept moving, but no one felt rushed. The room stayed open, wide, careful. People didn't return to their old places. They didn't close the space. They stayed where they were, because closing the space would mean testing it, and no one wanted to do that. A few men exchanged quick looks, not confident looks, checking looks, like asking without words, "Did you feel that too?" They had. Everyone had. The authority figure took another breath, deeper this time. He looked older suddenly. Not weaker, just smaller. His presence no longer shaped the room. It simply existed inside it. That difference was clear. People stopped standing tall. They stood natural. No posing, no display. The performance was over. The room had returned to honesty, and honesty always favors certainty. Someone near the front slowly stepped aside, not backing away, just moving out of the path. That movement spread. One person shifted, then another. A clear way formed, not announced, not demanded, given. The space respected Bruce Lee, even when he didn't ask for it. He finally turned, not sharply, not dramatically, just a turn, like a man finished with a moment. That turn said everything. It said the situation was closed. No one stopped him. No one followed him. The authority figure didn't speak, because speaking now would only remind everyone that he had lost. Bruce Lee walked, normal pace, unrushed. The space moved with him, not chasing, not collapsing, just opening. People stayed clear. They didn't stare anymore. They looked down, or away, not in fear, in recognition. The room felt lighter as he passed, like tension leaving slowly. A few breaths came easier. The moment didn't explode. It dissolved, quietly. That's why it stayed powerful, because loud moments fade fast. Quiet ones stay. When he reached the edge of the room, nothing changed behind him. No one rushed to reclaim space. No one laughed it off. No one said, "All right, let's move on." Moving on wasn't possible yet. People needed time to understand what had just happened. The authority figure finally turned away. Not fast, carefully. He didn't look back. He knew better. The room slowly returned to motion. Small movements, soft sounds. But something was different now. The balance had shifted, and balance never fully resets. People would remember this without talking about it. They would carry it quietly. They would tell the story without words, by how they stood, by how they watched, by how quickly they stepped back. The next time calm walked in, the rule that once mattered was gone, not broken, outgrown. The warning lost meaning. The moment certainty arrived, and certainty doesn't argue, it doesn't explain. It simply stands there until everything else adjusts. The room learned that, all at once, and it never forgot.